What's up, everybody? Just want to do a quick recap. UFC 288. I actually went to the event. It was a mixed bag. My seats weren't that great, but it was still fun. I could still feel the energy in the arena. And all in all, I'm glad I went to the event. It was a historic night. It was a little bit rowdy, a little wild, but that's New Jersey for you. So, yeah, I did pretty well on the card. I had a slight winning record, so I'm doing a little bit of improvement. Still made some dumb decisions, like Joseph Holmes. I bet on him plus 180, did not get done. He didn't win. Claudio Ribeiro knocked him out in the second round. So, yeah, man. I mean, that's a pick where it's like, yeah, of course, that's what happened. But I tried to take a shot on the underdog, and I don't know. I just thought Joseph Holmes could get done with a jab, but he can't take a punch, and I gotta learn from that. I got the Alaskarov, something I just saw. I didn't think he would lay Phil Hawes out the way he did, but he got it done, so I was on the right track on that one. And then Braxton Smith and Parker Porter, another stupid bet. It was low-level heavyweight. Braxton Smith plus 140. Parker Porter just got knocked out, but Braxton Smith is even more limited than what we thought. He has nothing else besides wild punches and haymakers, and if he can't get those, he gets very tired very easily, and Parker Porter knows how to wrestle. So, yeah, that was a stupid bet, but, you got to take your shot sometimes. And then Marina Rodriguez, Vernon Jandiroba, just very easy decision for me. Jandiroba was a slight underdog. Put it simply, Jandiroba was just better at knew how to wrestle. Let's put it that. She knew how to wrestle, and she kept taking Marina Rodriguez down whenever she needed it, and that was that. And she can strike a little bit, and she's tenacious, and she got it done. So that was an easy one for me. Chaos Williams, very close fight. I'm going to be cautious about betting Chaos going forward, but he got it done. But, I got a little lucky there, to be honest. And then Kennedy and Nzechukwu and Devin Clark, I didn't think... I thought it was a possibility he could sub him because he did that previously. But, yeah, man, Devin Clark landed a couple big shots early on, and Nzechukwu has a decent chin, which doesn't make sense because who did Devin Clark beat his last fight? Da Un Jung. He knocked out Kennedy and Nzechukwu with an elbow, and Devin Clark beat Da Un Jung. But that's two fights in a row where MMA math does not work out because Terrence McKinney beat Matt Frivola. Drew Dober beat Terrence McKinney. Doesn't work out that way. Devin Clark beat Da Un Jung. Da Un Jung beat Kennedy and Nzechukwu. But Kennedy and Nzechukwu beat Devin Clark. So, yeah, man, Kennedy and Nzechukwu, he withstood the early storm, and he was just getting in Devin Clark's face, using that range, hitting him with some big shots, punching him to the body in the clinch, and then he was able to get that submission. So, got it done, man, with those very long arms at 205. Devin Clark had talked about possibly dropping a weight class, so, it makes sense, and Nzechukwu is huge. And the prelim main event, this one really hurt me because I've been going back and forth on it, and Matt Frivola was a sizable underdog. And Drew Dober might not have been worth minus 210, but, dude, it's just Frivola's chin for whatever reason. His chin's gotten better somehow. I just pictured him as not having a great chin. And, because also Terrence McKinney murdered him in 6 seconds on the feet. And Drew Dober beat up Terrence McKinney. He took Terrence McKinney's best shots. So I thought, it's a no-brainer. Drew Dober's going to hit him with the big shot. I knew Matt Frivola could wrestle, and I knew he hit relatively hard, but I just thought Drew Dober would be able to find that one-shot KO. And, Matt Frivola got it done, man. The way he knocked him out, though, with that with that check right hook, I've seen that before because in his previous fights, he was getting to that collar tie and landed those hooks on the inside. So the sequence isn't surprising for me. I'm just surprised that he knocked out Drew Dober with that specific move. I thought Matt Frivola, if he was going to win, it was going to be wrestling in a 3-round decision. Maybe Drew Dober gets a little tired. But Matt Frivola got into a gunfight with Drew Dober, and he won. He cracked Drew Dober's chin. Drew Dober does not have the crimson chin anymore. And that's what's very shocking about this. So it's not necessarily that Matt Frivola won. It's how he won. First round KO of Drew Dober. So that's very shocking. And I was going back and forth on it. I should have bet Matt Frivola, man. This one really hurts me because I think I kind of knew better, and I thought Matt Frivola had a chance. I just didn't see exactly how he was going to get it done. And I just thought Drew Dober would find that shot, man. He's been on a roll, and then you throw the MMA math into there. Drew Dober has the win over McKinney, so... But awesome for Matt Frivola. This was this was a big jump in the rankings for Matt Frevola, and Dober took a huge risk. He did not have to take this fight. Matt Frevola was not ranked. So shout out to both guys. It was a fun fight. I thought it was arguably the best, most exciting fight of the card. Perfect way to kick off the main card. And, you know, Drew Dober's still a fan favorite. The fact that he even took this fight says a lot about him. So, yeah, God, good for Matt Frevola, man. It was awesome. And Matt Frevola landing that head kick. And he busted Drew Dober open early. You know, like he was getting his shots, and he looked good, man. He looked accurate. So, yeah, that one hurt me. But, you know, you got to just put the data in for another time and take notes. And then the first fight on the main card, Kron Gracie and Charles Jourdain at featherweight. Again, this was a stupid one. I feel stupid watching the fight. But Kron Gracie was plus 140. I know he just thinks it's 1995. But I just thought he would be able to get Jourdain into submission, or at least take his back or something and ride him out. I just kept thinking about the Jourdain and Burgos fight where Burgos had him backpacked for a long time. But no, man, Charles Jourdain made a lot of improvements. He knew he was a little weak in grappling, and he got it done, man. And first round, Charles just kept piecing him up with some hooks, and he was landing across. And then Kron pulls guard, okay, try the triangle, didn't work. Charles Jourdain keeping his elbows in, staying very tight, not letting him snatch up an arm, and just landing some ground and pound and played it safe. Second round, Gracie was in the clinch. He tries to pull guard into full guard, but he eats just a bunch of ground and pound from Jourdain. Jourdain just kind of went off, but he was more controlled this fight. And then Gracie tries to shoot for the 1-2, but then Charles lands some crosses and some uppercuts, and then he's able to get on top in the scramble, shutting the submission game down yet again. And then the third round, Charles landing some hooks, and he was ripping the body in the pocket, and then Gracie pulls guard, and that's all he was doing. And Gracie was like butt scooting, and it was just bad, and it was embarrassing. And the more I watched it, the more I felt stupid betting it. But I took a shot on the underdog, did not work out. Because, you know, I was watching how he got around Alex Caceres' back and rear naked choked Alex Caceres. But, you know, that was 4 years ago. So, yeah, stupid on my part, man. Don't know what I was thinking. I'm always a guy that looks at layoffs as bad. I don't know. I think it's because I bet on Jourdain his last fight, and he lost. So, I don't know. Well, yeah, good for Charles Jourdain, man. He needed a win because he's been in exciting fights, but he's just been making some technical errors and just being a little too overzealous in his fight and overextending himself. And, you know, he got it done, and it's a good step up for him and, you know, showing improvement. Second fight of the night at featherweight again, 145 pounds. Movsar Evloev, Diego Lopez. Very interesting matchup. Evloev was supposed to fight Bryce Mitchell. Lopez comes in on like 3 days' notice. Lopez got signed from a smaller promotion. I thought Evloev would beat him no problems, and I was sweating bullets watching this fight. Diego Lopez almost submitted him multiple times, and it was crazy. Honestly, I'm a little lucky to get the decision. Watching it live, especially, I thought they were going to give it to Lopez. So, in the first round, Diego rocks him with some counter hooks, but then Movsar is able to catch the kick, and then he gets a takedown, defends a leg lock attempt. But then toward the end, Diego has a deep armbar. But then Movsar is able to get out of it and land some ground and pound. But it was fully extended, and it looked like he was going to get it. So that was interesting. You know, very, very scary for Movsar. And then the second round, Movsar was landing some lead right hooks, and then Diego was landing some counter lefts. And then Movsar lands some 1-2s, and then he's able to secure the blast double takedown right into full guard. And then he was able to posture up and kind of stand over him. And he was landing some hard ground and pound. He was beating Diego up a little bit there. But, you know, Diego's a very tough guy. Then in the third round, Movsar was landing some 1-2s. But then Diego was landing a counter hook. But then Movsar was able to get the underhook position. He was landing some elbows in the clinch, able to secure the double leg and then get around his back. Couldn't do a whole lot with it. But then Diego, he was getting that trying to go for that Kimura, turn it into a straight arm lock. And then Diego was able to grab an ankle, roll through, and had a fully extended knee bar to end the fight. And I thought they might have gave that fight to Lopez right there, or give him a 10-8 round, because I remember, I mean, I haven't seen it since, but Charles Oliveira, when he had Tony Ferguson, that fully extended armbar, 10 seconds left to go, they gave him a 10-8 because they said if the round wouldn't have ended, then he would have broke his arm or got a submission. So, yeah, man, I think Movsar is kind of lucky to get that decision, honestly. I mean, because rarely do we see, like, submission attempts like that. I'm thinking about Muhammad Makayev with that knee bar, took me back to that. So, yeah, man, Diego Lopez, you couldn't have asked for a better performance without a win. Movzar's number 10. Nobody wants to fight that guy. And you showed us that he's human, and you almost beat him a couple times on very short notice. So Diego Lopez is the new superstar at featherweight, and Movzar, you know, even though he won, he needs another fight to show his domination again, to get people scared of him again. So I think they want Movzar. I don't know about Ilia Topuria. Let me see. They were talking about him fighting Ilia Topuria at some time. Let's see. Movzar Evloev, he's number 10 still. You know, maybe you give him... Oh, yeah, the Korean Zombie was in the crowd, so maybe that, but you don't want that fight. That's not good for Korean Zombie. You know, Topuria, he's fighting Josh Emmett. So maybe a Giga Chikadze, a complete clash of styles, or give him the Bryce Mitchell fight when Bryce Mitchell comes back. That's still a fun fight. But yeah, you know, Movzar got the win. It's tough. I understand it's tough for him too, taking that fight on short notice. He probably doesn't know who Diego Lopez is. So yeah, man, fun fight. Diego Lopez, I think he was the low-key MVP of the card. Featured fight of the night at 115 pounds, women's strawweight, Jessica Andrade and Yan Xiaonan. I love Yan Xiaonan, man. I thought she looked really impressive in Mackenzie Dern fight. You know, she was kind of not defenseless, but, you know, she kind of got dominated on the ground a little bit, but she did not give up any submissions, and that was clearly part of the game plan. She really improved her grappling. And Jessica Andrade, something felt a little off of her coming into this fight. She got choked out by Erin Blanchfield. She's moving up and down weight classes. And Yan Xiaonan was a pretty decent underdog, I think plus 140 or something like that. So I went with her, man, and she got it done. Did not expect her to knock Andrade out. She does not have any knockouts. Did not think somebody could just murder Andrade like that, but she did it. So, yeah, man. I got both the women's fights right, so I don't know if that's a streak for me, but in the first round, Andrade just kept pressing forward with those left hooks. Like, she just kept throwing left hooks. Her chin was wide open, and then Yan just kept circling on the outside. And then she was able to land that check right over top of the hook and just knocked her out with one shot. And jump on the ground, well, maybe not knocked her out, but jump on the ground, beat the shit out of her. And, yeah. Nah, dude. No, she knocked her out. She knocked her ass out. Yeah, which is really crazy. You can't even, like, it's, like, hard to, like, just kind of admit that Jessica Andrade got bulldozed by somebody because she is the bulldozer. And, yeah, man, it was just Andrade being a little careless. Looked like she didn't respect Xiaonan at all. She probably didn't respect her power. But if you're just leaving your chin up wide open like that and stalking them, like, mindlessly, anybody can get knocked out by anybody, man. And those two people's, like, chins got cracked that you didn't think they would get cracked. Drew Dober got knocked out. Jessica Andrade got knocked out. And, yeah, man, Xiaonan looks good. She's probably going to get a title shot. They want to do China versus China with her and Zhang Weili. I think that's awesome. And, yeah, man, and Xiaonan a couple years ago got dominated by Esparza. And she made her, and then lost a close split decision with Marina Rodriguez. Then she bounces back against Mackenzie Dern, and then knocks out Jessica Andrade. Give her the title fight right now, man. That's all, dude. It was amazing. So, co-main, 170 pounds, men's welterweight. Belal, remember the name Muhammad, and Gilbert Burns. First of all, this fight should not have been 5 rounds, okay? Everybody was booing in the arena, and I get that, because the main event ended up being 5 rounds as well. That makes for a very long night. It wasn't over till, like, 1:15, so I get that. But both guys took this on short notice. Gilbert fought, like, exactly a month ago before this fight. And, you know, Belal is a slight underdog, as per usual, about plus 120. I just thought he'd be the more technical striker. And if Gilbert wanted to take him down, I was pretty confident he could stuff his takedowns. And if Belal took him down, you know, that didn't happen, but I was confident he would be able to stay out of the submission attempts. But I just thought Belal was more accurate on the feet, and he was more, that's what happened. 5 rounds, not the most exciting fight in the world, but it's for a #1 contender spot, for a guaranteed title shot, as Dana White said. Let's hope that happens. And he played it kind of safe, and, you know, coming in on short notice. So, yeah, first round, Belal was landing those body kicks. Those body kicks were great. Great addition to his game. He was able to stuff the double leg early on, and that's what Gilbert's, I think that's what they're saying, that's where Gilbert hurt his shoulder. It's kind of hard to see, but it was like a very hard sprawl with an overhook. But also he kind of landed a knee there too in that spot, so it's kind of hard to tell. But regardless, it doesn't matter, man. A fight's a fight. It doesn't matter if Gilbert got injured or not. And then he dropped him with a jab whenever Gilbert was throwing his knee, and then he rocked him again with the head kick at the end of the first round, pretty badly. I know Gilbert kind of like gets rocked pretty bad when he gets rocked, but still, man, I thought Belal was gonna knock him out after this fight, and I think that's why people got a little frustrated with this fight too, because he had him hurt twice in the first round, and his shoulder was hurt, and he still couldn't finish him. But you know, what are you going to do, man? It's Gilbert Burns. You cannot disrespect that guy. Then the second round, Gilbert was landing a nice right cross, and then he was clipping him with some of the right hooks. But Belal was just kind of circling, staying on his bike, kind of like in the Vicente Luque fight. And then Belal was landing some jabs and some 1-2s and some more body kicks, and I think he just outworked him, outvolumed him. And then in the third round, Belal was landing some jabs and some 1-2s and some head kicks. And then Gilbert was kind of looking for the counter right hooks, but he was missing. Belal was making him miss kind of big, using more energy. Then the fourth round, Belal was jabbing and some 1-2s and body kicks. But then Gilbert was able to get a right cross off of a single attempt from Belal. But, you know, Belal just put more work in as he does. Then in the fifth round, Belal was landing some 1-2s and some body kicks. And then Gilbert was looking for the counter right hooks. And it was more of the same. And then a couple times in round 4 and 5, he would... Gilbert would get his back to the fence and Belal would open up with that jab and then hit him with the 1-2 down the middle and split his guard. And you could tell those were hurting Gilbert pretty bad. So... yeah, the fight was not the most entertaining fight and shouldn't have been 5 rounds, but, you know, Belal got it done. If it was 3 rounds, I don't think it would have been a bad fight at all. I don't think people would be complaining as much. But, yeah, a lot of people giving Belal shit because they said he should have finished Gilbert when Gilbert hurt his shoulder. Dude, what? That don't make any sense. It's not Belal's fault if Gilbert was injured before the fight. Gilbert took the fight. They both wanted it for a title shot. And if Gilbert hurt his shoulder during the fight, then you got to give credit to Belal for hurting his shoulder. So it's just stupid. And yeah, Belal got it done. It was a little frustrating because Belal had him hurt really bad in the first round, but you know, he got it done, man. Belal's not the most exciting guy, but at least he's he's laying some damage on these guys, like with Sean Brady and Gilbert Burns. He's turning it up a little bit, man. He knows he wants to be a little more entertaining, so you got to give him some credit. And he should be fighting for the title next. Who, God knows if Colby and Leon are going to fight ever. I think they're talking about Abu Dhabi in October. Who knows, man, but Belal deserves a title shot. If I were him, I would not accept any other fights under any circumstances because, you know, he should have got a title shot off the Sean Brady win. And now Dana White literally said from his own mouth, the winner of this fight will get the next title shot. So if I'm Belal, I'm staying put, not fighting anybody. Don't listen to any of the haters. Remember the name. The main event of the evening, Henry Cejudo and Aljamain Funkmaster Sterling for the 135 Bantamweight title. This had potentially historic outcomes if Henry would have won, 2-time Bantamweight champion, flyweight champion, Olympic gold medalist. And if Aljamain won, that's 3 title defenses at Bantamweight. That's the record. That's the most for consecutive title defenses at Bantamweight. Bantamweight is a very competitive weight class. The title changes hands a lot, and it's hard for people to go on reigns. And say what you will about the fight, say what you will about how he won the belt, he has 3 title defenses. So, it was awesome. I went with Aljamain. It was even. I think Aljamain might have been a slight underdog. It was pretty much even money, but just a 3-year-long layoff of Henry Cejudo. I knew Henry would be, coming into it, he looked better on the feet, the better wrestler, but that's not what happened, man. Like, Aljo kind of outlanded Henry on the feet. He landed some of the bigger shots, and Henry got a few takedowns. Aljamain got a few takedowns as well, and it was not as easy to take down Aljamain as people were saying it was. So it was a pretty competitive fight. Not the most exciting fight, not the most violent fight, really. There's a lot of grappling in this fight, but high-level bantamweight fight, competitive chess match. It was a fun fight. It wasn't a great fight, but it was fun. And, Henry looked really good, being on for 3 years against the current bantamweight champion, Aljamain Sterling, in his prime. Got to give it up to both guys, man. Pretty close fight. I had a good time with it, man. First round, Henry got the body lock off the jump knee. Couldn't get the takedown, though. Actually, yeah. And then Aljo landed a step-in elbow whenever Henry went for the body lock. But then Henry got Aljo into the front head. But then Aljo hits the peek out. He gets the body lock, shrugs him over, and then he takes his back. Actually, sorry, Henry did get the takedown in the first round off that body lock. Sorry about that. But then, yeah, and then Aljamain took his back. But Henry did a good job of catching his leg and not letting him get the hook in. But that was like the big question going into this fight was, could Aljamain take Henry Cejudo's back? And after this first round, I was like, oh man, Aljo's going to get his back. And that's another thing with the Belal fight and this fight. The first round got off to such a hot start, and then the fight just did not keep escalating. So I guess that could be a little frustrating for people, but yeah, man, I was very excited after the first round because he was, you know, basically he had Henry's back and he stole that round the last 30 seconds to go. Then the second round, Aljo was pressing with some jabs, landing some jump knees, but then Henry was landing some nice head kicks and counter hooks. And then he would land the leg kick, right cross combination, looked really good. But then Aljo was able to stuff the body lock attempts. And he was more aware of what was going on. And that was surprising, man. And Henry was burning up some energy trying to get him down there with those. And then Henry kind of like pushes him back with the jump knee. And then they get into a body lock battle. But then Aljo was able to hit the pass by again, the shrug around the back. But he's not able to take the back. And then Aljamain started shooting singles to doubles or just doubles. And then Henry was able to stuff them. Then Henry got the inside trip. And then Aljo started doing that thing where he was on all fours. And he was moving side to side with his head. And then Henry just could not decide what he wanted to do. And I think that kind of could have cost him. You could either throw an uppercut there or just pull him in, snap down, go around the back. Henry was looking for that Darce a couple times throughout the rounds. But, Henry's not going to get a submission. So, just like little moments like that, I think Henry could have taken advantage of. But then in the fourth round, Aljo was landing some kicks and jabs at range. And then Henry was landing some right crosses. Henry got into the clinch. And then Aljo just kept pumping his jabs at range. He was moving side to side, coming in at weird angles. But then Henry catches Aljo's kick, and he gets the body lock into the front headlock position again. But then Aljo is able to shoot through it, and he gets a double leg off the fence right down in the fourth round there and stole that round. And that's how you knew, like, it was competitive. Watching it live, I thought it was 2-2, but everybody keeps saying that Aljamain should have won 3, I think. So, I don't know. Yeah, interesting. And then in the fifth round, Henry was landing some body kicks, but then Aljo lands some jabs, and then he lands that spinning back kick to the face, probably the biggest, most impactful strike of the entire fight. But then Henry shoots a single, and he starts landing some hooks. But then Aljo, his double attempt gets stuffed, but then Aljo gets the body lock, but then Henry's able to pummel out of there. And then, with like 30 seconds left to go, Henry hits that high single, picks it all the way up over his head, runs Aljo all the way back to the other side of the octagon, and gets on top. And then he's able to get around his back, land a couple of ground and pound shots. So, number 5 was the most decisive round of the fight. But, close fight, man. I don't think Henry Cejudo won that fight. But watching it live, I kind of did. But then I'm just like thinking about it in my head. And I think you give Aljamain number 1 for sure, round 4 for sure. I think you probably give Aljo 3, something like that. But, yeah, I don't know. Just interesting. Everybody said, like, everybody that watched it there thought Henry won. And everybody that watched it at home thought Aljo won. So, kind of got to go back. I got to go back and watch that one. But don't have it because didn't buy a pay-per-view. So, got to wait. But, yeah, it was awesome. I thought both guys looked really good. I mean, if Henry Cejudo can look like that after a 3-year-long layoff, I think he should have took a tune-up fight, man, like anybody else in the top 5 and then went for the belt. But, yeah, Henry was like this close to winning. So, very interesting. Aljamain's going to fight Sean O'Malley next. I think that's easy money for Aljamain, but obviously it's bantamweight division, and Sean O'Malley's going to get a lot better, and he's probably have some surprises to make it interesting. But on paper, that's easy money for Aljo. Henry Cejudo wants to fight Merab. Perfect matchup. I would do that one. Or if I'm Henry, I'm fighting Corey Sandhagen. Either one of those guys, I think he's right back in the title picture. Now, Aljamain technically is like the best bantamweight on title defenses. They're all pretty close. TJ Dillashaw one's very weird. He dominated TJ, but TJ only had one arm, so do that with that what you will. I think if Aljamain beats Sean O'Malley, then you gotta call him the greatest bantamweight, just based on title defenses. So it's just very hard because he won the title with an illegal DQ, and then people thought he lost the second Yan fight. So who knows, man? Aljamain kind of has a tendency to give up rounds because he knows he's up. So that's what he did in the second Yan fight. So. And then, I don't know if he just, like, kind of knew he was up in the 5th round or what, but, yeah. Very, pretty good card overall. Only one finish on the main card, so that's frustrating for people. I understand that they had to sell pay-per-views, and they're going to put an exciting fight on the prelim main event. to entice people to buy the pay-per-view. But if you just would have switched Matt Frevola and Drew Dober and Gracie and Jordan, would have been way better. But then again, like, if people are watching Gracie and that Jordan fight, are they going to want to buy pay-per-view? No. So, you know, they did the correct thing marketing-wise. So, yeah. I'm very excited for Bantamweight and very excited for welterweight and then, like, up next 6 months. I don't know how long Aljo's going to turn around in. They want to do August with him and O'Malley. I think that's too short a notice, to be honest. He just had a grueling 5-round fight. So, but if he does it, man, if Aljo can beat Sean O'Malley in August on that quick of a turnaround, you got to start saying he's the GOAT, man. You got to at least be talking about it. Next weekend, we got Rosenstrike and Jelton Almeida. So that should be fun. They want they're very obviously pushing Jelton Almeida. They need stars at heavyweight. God knows what John Jones is going to do after he beats Stipe. So, yeah, should be fun. Thanks, guys. And I'm going to be doing my research, and we're going to get an even better record this week.